Welcome to the episode,
Already we're swinging from
off to a good start. Welcome to the Road is Dead podcast,
yeah.
episode number 124. I'm your host, Robert Curtis, joined here in the studio with
Tim Strelecki.
And that's it.
Just the two of us. Baby.
Lady Leah has decided to flee the winter north and head down to Florida to ride her bike.
Sun in the buns.
She does that every now and then. She does it every year. She decides she's done with winter.
She does.
And gets on a plane and decides to go and to nicer places. But her parents have a place down in Florida, so she pretty much will go at the drop of a dime, drop of a hat. Drop a dime is to call and tattle on somebody.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
Drop a dime?
If you drop a dime, the expression is because it used to cost a dime for a phone call.
Oh.
So you would drop a dime. It was
way back when for you very youthful
listeners.
Right.
That was back in that what they would call like the G-Man era, like all those like
back in the 80s.
All those this is like 50s, 60s.
Oh. Yeah. It's 10 cents. Yeah.
They would do the whole law enforcement, if you know anything, drop a dime on them, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Now that sounds
so.
Familiar.
You would drop a dime would be to make a phone call in a payphone, something that now if you see one and you pick it up, you'll leave the matrix.
What did I see? Like a year or so ago, I saw a meme on social media where there were some Gen Zers and the mom, they had a rotary phone. And the mom quizzed the kids. I'll give you X, Y, and Z if you can tell me what this is.
Yeah.
And the kids had no clue. It was freaking hysterical.
Oh, I don't if you recall, because you're a Gen Xer like me, so our memories are shot. But we discussed millennials last podcast.
Yes,
I predicted that I would receive the hate.
Did you?
I did. I did.
Full
I got this. Hey, now
Oh, let's hear.
We're millennials.
Read some of it. Let's hear it.
I don't want to go too far into it, but I would be like, they would be like, hey, I heard you said that we're all worthless and we suck, and when I doubled down and said, well, yeah, because you do, every one of them responded with, yeah, I guess you're right.
They know it. They just don't want to admit
it. Right.
I mean, even Mike, he heard me. He was like, oh, no.
Yeah. So anyway, that generational thing, but for the whole rotary, so it's on topic, I guess, for us to poke fun at generations again.
Oh, of course.
But rotary phones. They would do the whole, how do you answer a phone, or what's the hand symbol for a phone?
Yeah.
And we would go like this, and they would go like, hold up the phone, like
here's my little, my little everything, my world.
They would do this. I think that they were going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know. I'm
call me.
Yeah, right. Do people do that anymore? They'd be like, "Hey, call me."
I don't know. No, it's either DM me or text me.
Slide into my DMs.
I think that's what they say.
Is that the expression
the kids use?
Only the ones with the Riz.
No, I think I mean, there's a whole list of terms. I don't even know what they mean these days. I don't even care to.
Yeah, I'm kind of at that point. I mean, when we do of course you hear about the Ohio Skibbity Riz Giat and all that kind of crap.
I know nothing of
that. Well, it's
you have kids, though. I don't have kids.
It's a thing where everybody, the old people, when they find out about it, make fun of it. And so, of course, I got to throw that at Parker every now and then. And he just,
I bet he's
God, the eye rolls and the groaning can be heard from miles away. Oh, Dad, no one says that.
Yes, that's pretty funny. Saw another meme like that on social media where a guy was dropping his daughter off, his teenage daughter off at school, and she's getting out of the car, and he's yelling all these things to her to have a nice day, and she's super embarrassed.
Oh
it's hysterical. I didn't know 95% of what the hell he was saying.
Best ones I see are the ones where the dad comes to pick them up at their school after school with the windows down.
Yeah.
And the most, obscene music lyrics
playing their generation or
both. Either our generation or their generation.
Okay.
Just the most obscene songs playing it just the highest,
And some NWA cranked up.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I I would love that, but I don't know, man.
It'd be frowned upon.
That'd be kind of rough pulling up like that.
Yeah,
but
it'd be frowned upon these days. But whatever.
Yeah, but I think those videos are hilarious because the kids are always just so embarrassed and they just go slinking into the car and they're like, "Come on, go, come on, you're embarrassing me." Luckily, my kids just never really cared enough about what other people thought of them. They're trying to figure out what they think of themselves. To be honest, you know, they're too busy doing that.
I feel that.
So
I'm trying to do that myself.
I get it, but anyway, we decided to go ahead and record a podcast, even though Leah was out of town, and we didn't even check, honestly, with Mike. We didn't get a chance to check with him to see if he was available. But we were in here all day prepping your bike.
Thank you very much, a million times over. I know every time that I ask you, I know it's a pain in the ass.
No, I know.
Because I know what goes into it. I don't know how to do the work, but I know what the work entails.
What were we doing, though?
What were we doing?
Yeah. Generally.
We removed all of my SRAM products from my gravel bike, i.e., the whole lot, full drivetrain, calipers, shifters, all SRAM off, and I went and thankfully got an older Di2 11-speed Shimano from Leah. So thank you very much, Leah, if you're listening to this, or I will thank you in person when I see you. And you have converted my entire setup now to all Shimano, which now I am thankful that my entire quiver is now all Shimano, and I'm super happy.
Everyone knows I love Shimano, and I've talked a lot of smack about SRAM or whatever. I'm trying to be as embracing of, all components as I can now. I do really like a lot of the access stuff that they have out for gravel.
Mm-hmm.
And along those lines, we picked up, we now have an agreement. I don't know about agreement. I don't know how we phrase this, but we're working with BMC now. Our team is.
Yeah.
And luckily there is the warehouse for BMC is located here in town.
Yeah, you said it's close.
Yeah, very close. Actually, it's probably the closest bicycle anything to my house.
It's closer than Giant, right?
Yes, it's actually closer than Giant. Giant for the interesting thing is, everyone I've talked to at BMC, none of them knew that the Giant warehouse was there.
Interesting.
I don't want to say none. I think Joan was aware of it. But I remember going in and having to tell them, like, you do realize there's a Giant warehouse less than half a mile from here. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's on the other side of the highway. Like, you guys are on this side of the highway, and the first exit, little turn off, they were on the other side.
It's like McDonald's on one side, Wendy's
the
on
other. Oh, yeah, 100%. So, and, people may or may not know, but we have people that work in the Giant one. And now we're working kind of with BMC a little bit. Theoretically, I'm a sort of dealer now.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of setup, but they have been working in our area with what do you call it? Individuals that are ambassadors.
Brand
ambassadors. And they've been working with, they've had bicycles that they've been working with, the ambassadors have, and they're done with the first round that they got, and they're moving on to the second round. So I was looking at picking up one of those bikes so that I could ride it. And it's what they call the URS, which is not necessarily their super race gravel.
Yeah.
They have a Caius is what they call it for a race gravel. But the URS is what they have for their kind of adventure gravel bike. And it's kind of cool. It's a well thought out, really interesting. It's more mountain bike than
very
than traditional road roadish. And so it's got a really short stem, but it's got elastomers in the stem. It's got like a suspension stem.
Yep.
And then there's, in addition to that, the rear, they have this like sort of pseudo, passive suspension.
Is it actually like a suspension that flexes, or is it something like
it flexes.
Like the old Specialized Zerts?
No, it's not. It's not Zerts. It actually, there's 10 millimeter of travel.
Okay. So
possible. It does have no. Well, no. Okay. To my knowledge, it is not. Although there were replacement caps.
Okay.
I'm still learning about the whole product line.
It's sitting downstairs. I've never seen it before
Yeah.
until I came in here the other day. It's cool.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But I was thinking that I could pick that one up and run it, and I almost pulled the trigger on it, and then I realized something. So it's currently stock. It's set up SRAM 1x.
Yeah.
Force
Mullet setup.
Yeah, mullet setup. It's got an Eagle X, whatever the hell.
Yep.
In the rear, and it's super wide range, 52 tooth cassette in the rear.
1052. Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. To me, I can't look at a 52 tooth cassette without thinking, damn, that's the size of the first chain rings I had as a junior. You know,
In the front.
in the front. So
yeah. Well, it's weird. You look at a bike like that for the environment we live in. Unless out your door you live in the driftless, a gearing like that to me makes sense. But around here, you don't need it. Even when I was riding around with the Explorer setup, the 1044, it's like I don't need this gear. But I digress.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, it's and so I'm looking at that thing, and my intention was to take my Shimano GRX 12-speed grip and put it on there.
Yeah.
Because I figured that's what I like riding, and I got a couple of those groups last year. I've got them on all the bikes that I ride, quote unquote, off road, and that's what I want to run on there. And so I'm looking at it, and it slowly dawns me at the very last minute, there's no front derailleur
None
on that bike at all, and there's no way to put one on there. And I went and I looked, and it's like the whole sales pitch is that it's 1x specific. And so I started thinking about that, and I was like, crap.
That's kind of a bummer.
It is a bummer, and not to say that I couldn't. I definitely could have made it work, and I would have enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, I really do. I want a 2x for gravel. So I know you're now on a 2x for gravel.
I am. You just put that on. So, for those of you listening, and those of you and people that I've maybe ridden with here or there, I have both. I have 2x and I had 1x. And for the longest time, my gravel setup was all 1x. It was a force setup that when I purchased the bike, that's what it came with, and I made adjustments through the years to upgrade the parts, and I've been 1x ever since on my gravel bike. And I've raced it at BWRs, except a couple different editions of BWRs, and I've raced it locally here. Ridden it thousands and thousands of miles on the 1x setup, and I don't hate it, but I just think for me and what I enjoy riding, I like the range that a 2x gives me.
Yeah,
like it's a go anywhere, do anything. If I need to change, I just gotta change. If you could change my rear cassette, I'm fine with that. I'm not. I don't have to worry about too many other things. It's really a no-brainer for me. So I just like the simplicity of a 2x and just the range that I have.
Yeah, which is funny because most people would say it to be like the simplicity of a 1x.
That's the one thing that I do appreciate about the entire 1x setup, and especially SRAM, is just the ease of the build. Out of the box, on the bike, to working. It's absolutely beautiful.
Have to give them the kudos on that one.
I mean, it's so simple. I mean, I'm not the most mechanically inclined, and even I can do
it. It takes minutes.
Yeah,
at least to install everything. You still got to run the lines for the brakes. But I was working on another BMC the other day. One of the e-bikes,
right?
Amp Plus, I think is what they call it, or Amp X or something
I saw
like
you
that.
Working on that.
And it was their road version. But it's a higher end kind of road setup that's an e-bike. And
is it like comfort geometry, or is it like race geometry e-bike?
I don't know that I would call it race geometry on the bike.
It looked like an endurance.
Yeah, but it's definitely a road setup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the way that it was set up, and it came with
it's a nice looking
I want to see force on there. It has SRAM force on there. But because it's an e-bike, it's got a power cable that comes off of the battery system that has a little saddle that plugs into the back of the derailleur.
Okay.
So it is wired, at that point.
Yeah.
But it's still, in essence, the wireless system.
Mm-hmm.
You still have your wireless shifters and everything else. Well, the individual that bought the bike, even though it had force on it, it's just who he is. He likes this stuff. So he went and he bought the latest, greatest SRAM red levers in brakes. So this is that Explorer or whatever group, 13 speed SRAM kind of deal. You not familiar with that?
Well, I didn't know 13
It's
was
13.
around.
Yeah, no, it's 13. But it's okay. So SRAM introduced their red group and the latest iteration. No, for gravel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gravel. It'll work with road too.
Sleeping under a rock.
So it's kind of confusing. It's not confusing when you really think about it, but until you told it. But it's new levers and new brakes. And the big sales pitch on the new brakes is that they actually work as well as Shimano. Finally, that's kind of the sales pitch.
One finger pull.
I don't know.
Good modulation. I don't know. There's something about the feel of all braking systems.
I like the shape of the levers now, and to be honest with you, I kind of like it because they kind of look like GRX levers.
Oh yeah, that's when I saw the road group introduced. I was like, oh, it looks like a GRX lever.
Yeah. So it is a new lever. What I really kind of don't like about what SRAM does is they don't put the model numbers on their actual parts. At least not that I'm aware of. I haven't found them. I don't spend all my time on. I know there's a school. I should go and do it, but I don't. I just kind of learn the hard way when I go through a lot of the SRAM stuff.
People learn better that way.
But to my knowledge, they don't have the model numbers on any parts. So you kind of have to go by the looks. And then you have to dig and figure out what freaking part number it is.
All right.
And then there are some charts that will tell you what works with what and everything else. But in general, all the access system, ecosystem, works with the other stuff in it. So these are new levers, new brakes. Okay. So those levers and brakes go together. Mm-hmm. They basically have servo wave from Shimano technology in them, so that they can actually work. And give you modulation and feel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they integrate with any derailleur in the access ecosystem. For the most part, I'm sure there's maybe one oddball one that doesn't work. For the most part, it works with them.
They're pretty good these days with the backwards.
Yeah, it's. I like it. I do like it. So on this particular bike, he wanted those levers.
Okay.
And then he was like, I want to upgrade the rear derailleur. And so he got a red 12-speed rear derailleur. And I was able to just go it on, go with it, we're good to go. But he was running more of a road setup.
Yeah.
So he had dropped the chainring, or not chainring, the cassette size down.
Okay.
And he was on 30, I think theoretically he was on 36. And he had an Explorer red rear derailleur. But that particular one, the way that it was set up and it was working, it was a clunky shift for that particular setup.
Okay.
And apparently there's another one. So he went and he grabbed another one, and that one actually had a slightly longer cage, and it did work quite a bit better.
Smoothed it out. Yeah.
So, so he comes in with that last one. Everything's all set, ready to go, ready to pick up, and he's like, hey, I was calling, talking to people, whatever, and this derailleur supposedly works better than this kind of setup. So I'd like to put this one. I was able to open the chain, unhook the little wire for the rear derailleur, unscrew the rear derailleur, put the new one on, put the little thing on, put the chain through it,
sink it, you're done.
And then I set the chain gap, and it was done. I had to sync the,
Yeah.
But that was like seconds. And that was done.
Literally, if you know what you're doing, it's a couple minutes.
Now, I guess theoretically I could say the same thing about Shimano because all you got to do is unplug the wire and do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it's slightly more confusing now because actually it would be because in the 12-speed setup, all the brakes and system are in the rear derailleur for Shimano. Mm-hmm. So if you were to swap that, then you would have to go back into your app and reassign the shift levers to it.
I need to get the Shimano app. I don't have that. I have the Access app, but I don't use it.
No, I don't think I do. I think I would just use it. Anyway.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, so anyway.
But yeah, I'm super pumped that all the work you did. I can't wait.
But, that's a good setup. I do like that setup.
road gear, too.
But that bike, I would have been able to use that bike even on the one-bike side with Shimano, but on the 12-speed side, all they have is a mechanical one-bike. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. On the Di2 side, for 12 speed. So 12 speed GRX Di2 is currently only available off the shelf in a 2x7. Now, what I mean by that is that the largest cassette that rear derailleur system will wrap is a 36. So, can you run it 1x? Sure, just take a chain ring off. You can run, and I've got a video out there on YouTube that explains it, but basically, the 12-speed chain rings, 1x chain ring, will work on any of the GRX cranks, and you just throw it 1x. And I did that for all of cross.
Yeah.
Because in the cross, I don't need more than a 36 in the ring. So I ran 1x on this Di2 GRX setup all last fall in the cross season. So I could have put that on that bike, but then for gravel, I do like to have a 2x setup because I do like, for when you climb, in parentheses, because I understand any of my climbing is not like other people's climbing, but when you actually climb, I do like to have that quote-unquote bailout chain ring, and it is a bailout at 31. But it's nice to have it.
It's a rough day if you're in 31, 36.
Yeah. Now the big ring is a 46, I believe.
Yeah.
And the 46, you can live in that 46 all day.
Yeah.
So I don't ever use a small chain ring, like in this state, unless I go far west. But yeah. So that, I mean, I could have put the 12-speed mechanical on there, and that does have a wide range cassette. But then I got to change the microspline and all the pre-hubs and everything. Every little component group has got its problems nowadays, in real world applications.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that you and I have real world applications. Anybody listening to this has real world applications.
Oh, for sure.
But I say real world because all of this shit is designed with the idea that somebody's going to walk into a bike shop, buy a bike, and it's going to be all on there. They walk out with it, and that is the way it will stay until the day. And that's not how you and I ride bikes, and that's not how anybody else in this podcast.
I don't think that's how the majority of people.
Oh no, it definitely
have a vested interest in cycling.
Almost all of them. Nowadays, almost all of them are that way. So like the dentist going out and buying the $12,000 bike.
That dude's definitely making upgrades. Definitely making upgrades.
Oh, well, maybe in wheels, but not making upgrades to the group. Most of those guys, they will buy it as is, they will ride it, and if they want a new group, they're going to look at the price of the group, and then usually they go, you know what, let me just get the newest, this new model, this S-Works now has that group on there that I want, that's the new bike.
Yeah, that one works in like 6-figure salary.
But there's a lot of people that are that way, that just, they ride the bike with the spec that it had. The only thing they're really changing is maybe wheels and obviously tires. You and I can't even conceive of that because, I mean, shit, we've got frames. I've got frames that have probably had 10 different groups over the years.
But I think I'm at the point in my life where I look at my quiver and I'm like, I would really love to refresh this and make it new. But then I think of, number one, the prices that everything is these days. And every bike that I currently have, for whatever discipline it is, I actually like. I like the way it rides. Some of them are a little more crude than others and old school than others, but I like the way they feel. I'll maybe make a handlebar upgrade or a wheel upgrade, but I'm not searching for the latest, greatest. I could have went out and maybe got, a brand new and fresh 11-speed GRX Di2, but they had an availability. So I asked her, I had a conversation with her, and that's fine.
That damn group is full.
Yeah. When you switched my cross bike over to Di2 GRX, oh my God, it made the last handful of races I did, 6 or 7 races I did, so much better. All my shifting problems went away. My shifting was crisp. It was quick. Because I'm one of those cross racers that shifts like 1,000 times a lap.
Oh yeah,
and it was so much better.
I threw the data out there, I think, during the time, but I was noticing if I were to ride my bike for 4 hours, like doing a border run or something like that and coming back, I might have 220 shifts for the whole ride. in one 40-minute race, I would look, and I was like 350 to 400 shifts.
Wow.
In that one race.
Yeah.
And now a lot of it is I would come off a corner and I would know I'm grabbing 3-4 dealers.
Yep.
And then, get 5 pedal strokes in and I'm already starting to shift up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shifting in it. And the electronic makes it a lot easier.
Oh, it's night and day.
On both sides. It's SRAM and I was on the upgrade I just did. I think there's a tilting point to that where I'm in the same boat. I look at what I've got. I really like what I'm riding. And I don't necessarily want to mess with it all the time because it does take you a while to get everything dialed to the point where you really like it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mess with it. Everything I got's perfectly fine. I can the things that make you want to upgrade though, the only like hard stops are can't get parts. When you start getting to the point where it's like, you know what, I have to go to eBay to get parts, or I have to go to the swap meet to get parts, or I have to start asking around. That's when it's like, for me, that's when it's like, okay, it's time to go get new parts. The other part is, you ever go to a race, like a cross race, and that person that's been doing this forever, that is really good, and has been for like over a decade plus, comes walking over and they're talking to you, and you look down, and this happens all the time to me now, still to this day. They'll walk over to me and they've got one of those like first generation carbon cyclocross bikes, like an old Ridley or something like that, and they're sporting their cannies, and probably don't even have carbon wheels on there at this point. They're still running their aluminum setup. And they're running some tires that are like 4 years old.
Dry rotted.
And they're just running it. And it's like, I know the right answer is somewhere between getting a new bike every year and that. It's like, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. I mean, some people, live with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're comfortable with what they have. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'd like to make little embellishments and make it a little better just because I like nice bikes.
Well, people say you can't buy speed. You can't get better by buying a new bike.
That's false.
I will say, though, that people like Josh Portner at Silka would kind of disagree with that. He would say that not necessarily buying the speed part, but that there's been a lot of incremental improvements in just the design of everything.
Oh, yeah.
That the bikes are light speed better than they were, and some of that better it results in overall better speed.
That could be argued.
Especially on the road.
I mean, wind tunnel testing, blah, blah, blah. All those numbers, they don't know. So there is definitely a benefit to all that. But the last time I checked, the bike doesn't make the bike go.
Right.
The person makes the bike go.
Yeah, I will always argue to my end of days that the kid with the engine that shows up with the down tube shifters and
it smokes everybody.
And the box section rims is going to smoke everybody.
Yeah.
So don't worry if you're new to the sport or you're trying the sport and you feel like you don't have the gear. Everybody feels that way at the start. Ride what you want to ride, and as long as the pedals turn and the wheels go straight,
you're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
So, but fun stuff. I was sitting there thinking about that, and I was like, that Shimano's got to have a wide range Di2 setup coming. You've got to.
Of course, they got to keep up with the market.
And it's interesting though, because I did have a guy. I'm not up to date on the mountain bike side, but I had a customer. I had a customer last year who was like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of the SRAM stuff on the mountain bike side. I really like how well Shimano works on the mountain bike side.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting a whole new group. So can you research what the Di2 stuff is on the XTR side and figure it out? And it's kind of a minefield figuring all of it out on my end, looking at it.
Yeah, that.
And it's kind of like there's not like one set group. It's not as, I will admit, it's not as easy as basically looking at SRAM and going, 1, 2, 3, you're done.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me they hadn't had an update in a long time. A long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a feeling, this is based on no information or knowledge, I have a feeling that we're going to see. I mean, why else would you hold back on GRX, GI2 wide range? Because the only difference is the rear derailleur.
Yeah.
That rear derailleur and the cassette.
Yeah. Right.
That is the only difference between the 2x 12-speed GRX GI2.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot to unpack.
That would be the only difference between what we have now and the one body. Mm-hmm. Unless there's some fundamental new technology that they're testing and bringing out.
That's where you got to keep a close eye on like your social media channels and know the riders who are like if you follow Pete Stedman and you are going through his feed and you see something that catches your eye, it's probably something new that's unbranded that he's probably testing. I guarantee you.
Yeah. We saw that.
He's their dude.
We've seen that for years on the stream side.
Yeah,
because they're always testing something in the local fields. It's kind of funny though; they're testing so much in the local fields now that they don't even really bother truly hiding it, and no one really looks anymore.
No, because I think it's just expected that it's coming.
That, and to be honest with you, everything lately has been Me Too shit. Meaning no innovation; it's just incremental improvements. Okay. Yeah, so it's, in other words, like, that Explorer Force rear derailleur. Can you tell the difference between that and the previous generation?
Yeah.
Force access rear derailleur? No, you can't. Especially not from looking at the car.
The sticker is different.
Yeah. The sticker's different. Yeah, there might be a slight V-knuckle change and that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, the transmission stuff, they could have dropped that, and they probably did, drop it into any race here locally, and almost no one would notice it.
That's pretty.
Unless it's the wide range stuff.
That transmission system stands out. At least the rear derailleur does.
If you're looking at rear derailleurs.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
But if it's black with no
branding or anything.
No branding or anything, and it's not a super wide range cassette, are you really going to tell that it's the derailleur's moved up and actually on the axle?
I would.
No way. 5 millimeters?
No. The one I would actually, my shifting on my mountain bike currently is SRAM, mechanical. It's not bad. I've never had it serviced. It's gotten me through a ton of races. I would actually love to try the transmission and see what that feels like and not have to, unload before you shift.
Yeah.
Just jam the gears and see what that actually feels like. That is a cool benefit, I think.
Well, so transmission and going to 13 speed for SRAM. You can't tell me, because there's rumors that Shimano's going 13. You can't tell me that all of this isn't integrated together, that there's some sort of mountain bike revision, and it's starting with the mountain bike size, XTR.
Yeah.
It's going to be XTR, because that's a flagship. GRX is cool, but XTR is a flagship.
XTR has been around forever.
So it's going to start in XTR. This is my guess. Start in XTR. It'll be something unique enough that there was a reason for holding back on GRX Di2. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be some sort of ecosystem change of some sort.
Yeah.
And it's going to involve, there were rumors when they were announcing the Di2 2x last June that it was going to be 13 speed. And it didn't end up being 13 speed. So
why do you need 13 speeds?
You don't. You absolutely don't. I already think 12 is kind of too many, to be honest with you. But I sound like an old. Perfect. I sound like an old crotchety guy by going, "Oh, you don't need 12 speeds."
Are you approaching Clint Eastwood? Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Oh, I've been there. I've been there for a while.
Same.
But it's I'm not going to. At the same time, I'm done arguing. I'm done worrying about speed generations. I don't even give a shit.
For sure.
Because now we're starting to find all the chains are interchangeable, and the cassettes are what they are. And if you've got shifters that are programmable, they work with everything anyway. So who gives a shit?
I just for me, it's a personal thing. I just like the way 11 speed feels.
It works very well.
I just like the way it feels.
I would say it's the epitome, or it's the upper echelon of mechanical curves.
Now, granted, if I was a brand ambassador and was getting the stuff for nothing or dirt cheap, it might be a different story. But for me, I just like 11 speed.
That's not a play for me.
No.
Although I would love to be a brand ambassador
for Shimano. Oh, hands down. I miss those days. Back in the BMX days, I used to get some flow from Shimano.
I've always said if SRAM wanted to shut me up, all they got to do is bring me under the umbrella and make me sign stuff, and that'll shut me up.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't.
That or some free gear,
Yeah. Well,
I paid a raffle ticket for that.
A raffle ticket, but you kind of got.
I came out very well
versus the MSRP. Yes. You basically got it for free.
It was enough that I did unzip the Cymet jacket when I took the photo with the group to send to them.
That's funny.
So, I do love you, SRAM.
You could hear the air come out of the room when it was your ticket.
It was hilarious. Yeah. It's like, really, this guy? It's like, dude, I own a bike shop. I can't afford this shit.
Come on, anybody else but this guy.
Yeah. But, I don't know. That's groups. So that's my wild ass guessing for where it might go. I'm hoping something comes soon. Gravel. There is no Interbike anymore. So stuff used to get introduced at Interbike. Last year, the last 2 years I can think of, they introduced new GRX stuff at Unbound.
They'll either use Unbound to show something new or Sea Otter.
True. Yeah.
Sea Otter, I think, obviously it's what it is with non-bike and it's all the bikes.
All the bikes, yeah.
So people really lead stuff into that, and then like you said, it would be the next trade show.
Speaking of trade shows, though, new ones coming out. This year's CABDA show is coming up in February.
Yep.
So a couple weeks from now. 2 weeks from now.
You will be there.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there. I got a new booth. That wasn't why I was mentioning it, but I will mention that now. So if you're going to be at CABDA or you know what CABDA is, the reason why I'm getting a booth is because of Buttonhole Chamois Cream. Go out and buy your Buttonhole Chamois Cream at your local cycling retailer. If they do not have it on the shelf, tell them to give me a call. We'll put them on the register. You can always go to our website at enzoscyclingproducts.com. That may change to buttonholechamoiscream.com at some point, who knows, or some variant. I'll just have to have a redirect and still own both domains so that it goes to the right place. But we'll be there, but that wasn't why I was mentioning it. I was mentioning it because SRAM has been, and this isn't a bag on SRAM thing, it's just interesting that it came up. SRAM has not been at most of the trade shows that I've gone to in a long time.
In recent years now.
And they used to have this huge thing at Interbike. Yeah. I mean, they were like the biggest booth there. And I don't want to say booth. It was many sections of floor space. And they had stages there. They had all sorts of music. Interbike was cool.
Interbike was a circus, man. Oh my god.
I'll get back to that though on the Interbike thing. But what I did notice is that SRAM is going to be at CABDA.
Cool.
And that's the first time they showed up at a trade show that I know of in quite a while. They were at CABDA last year, but they showed up in somebody else's booth, I think. I don't think they had a booth.
I don't remember.
Maybe they did.
I don't remember.
But I think they showed up in somebody else's booth.
All I remember from last year's CABDA is e-bikes.
That's what I was going to get to.
That's all I remember.
If we had a guy in a group on a forum that we're in, a group on Facebook. He said, "Hey, can somebody get me in the CABDA?" That kind of thing. And that's always been frowned upon, but because it's an industry-specific event,
right?
But even when I was pre-industry, I would try to find a way to get into these trade shows, and I get it. But the reason why we wanted to do it is because we want to see the newest, latest, and greatest. It's like I want to see that new whatever group before it's introduced somewhere. Oh, look, new brakes from somebody, new wheels or whatever. And so that idea appealed to us as consumers. And then I had to break it to them that times have changed, man.
Oh, yeah.
The trade shows nowadays, I will be honest, they absolutely suck. If you're coming to it as a consumer, there's absolutely no point in going. No one is introducing new product at any of these trade shows.
Yeah.
They're all kind of second thoughts for every OEM. Not every OEM, all the big ones that you would want to see new products from. Like SRAM isn't going through their model year and going, well, let's do the introduction at CABDA.
Yeah.
You know, no one's
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Shimano's not doing that. Freaking no bike company really, big one that's going to be doing that. And as we've said, and you mentioned just now, all these trade shows have turned into e-bike shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are consumer e-bike shows. They're not even like high-end e-bikes. There are some high-end e-bikes there,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they are just run-of-the-mill commuter
I mean,
e-bike brands.
from what I remember last year, walking the showroom floor for a little bit that I did, most of the seminars were focused on e-bikes
Yeah.
and storage of e-bikes and battery care,
Yeah.
this and that, and safety risks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not poo-pooing it because it gets people on bikes. I just think I'll be good.
It's we share the same thought.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And we probably cover this.
e-bikes are e-bikes. If they do well, they do well. I think they get people on bikes, and I don't really have a problem with them. My business has not been focused on e-bikes before, and I will work on them or with them as I see fit. In general, though, I don't let an e-bike in the shop unless it's one of the big ones.
I was surprised when I walked in and saw that. I was like, I thought you didn't do e-bikes, but then I was like,
It's a beast.
it's a high-end e-bike,
Yeah.
so it's for somebody.
Yeah, I'm not getting around when it comes to those. Like, I'm not going to let some fly-by-night Amazon only e-bike
Oh,
in the door.
kidding me? That thing would stored overnight. This building would probably blow up.
Do you remember at the old shop we had that homemade e-bike that showed up?
Yeah.
And we actually kept it in there for a while. He had a car battery, an actual car lead acid car battery. It was just lead acid.
Thought
It was
thought it
sitting.
was okay to just let it just
Yeah,
chill.
dude. It was sitting on. He had a rear rack, and he had the car battery, and he had it bungee to it,
Oh,
and he had like a little clip that was on the, like a little alligator clip that was like on it,
this is
and-
how I started.
and it worked. You know, and I worked on his bike because I was fixing mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, as long as I'm not touching the electronic side, I guess I don't care.
Electronics.
On reflection, I should have cared. But, I mean, at least that was a well-known 12-volt car battery, So I'll give them that one. But, yeah, things have changed. So if you're, if you think it sounds cool to go to a trade show, I assure you at this point in time, it is all about work. And there is nothing interesting going on there outside of the relationships that people have within the industry. Because it's always good to touch base with people and talk with them. But I'm sure we're going to do some CABDA show after we're done with this and talk about what new is happening.
Oh, we will for sure have a follow-up. We always do. Because there'll be some cool things.
Yeah.
From some.
You just got to know how to find them.
From some people, yeah, and there'll be some really bad things.
Yeah.
And we will probably poke fun at the bad things.
Yeah.
Because why not?
There'll be some shit.
Oh yeah.
Some absolute crap. So aside from that, I didn't think we were going to talk about tech today, but I do want to talk about tech.
You've probably been dying to talk about tech for
I have
5
been waiting
episodes now.
so long to talk about tech. And then, okay, I'll give me my 5 minutes on the industry.
Whoa.
Jesus, we're 43 minutes in.
Whoa. 5? Your 5 is like everyone else's
I know.
35.
I'm just going to, I've said this, and I'm going to keep doing it.
tight.
I'm going to keep
it tight.
I'm going to keep running through this at every opportunity. The industry is in really shit shape right now. It's like really bad shape. It's the worst I've ever seen it. There are bike shops going out of business absolutely every day at this point. Most of them are not quote unquote going out of business. Like, oh my God, somebody locked the doors on them. The ones
That's
that are
good.
doing it,
Yeah.
they're making the conscious choice. They're like, you know what, I'm done with this.
We've been in the red for a while.
It's not the red so much as they're just like, I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And now is the time to get out.
Yep.
There's, if you believe some economists, it's looking like we may actually have a 2000, 2008 level recession this year. So if you believe that, that is kind of a lot of the same factors that are going into this. The same factor of the bikes, more and more companies going consumer direct, which is like stepping shops, and shops are kind of like, sure, I can work on it, but most of their money is coming from P&A.
Yeah.
and from selling of actual bikes. So if you're not doing that, the volume of income, the volume of revenue needed to keep what you would consider a local bike shop running is extremely high, and you're not going to get that strictly from service. It's just not going to happen. Now, can you exist as a service shop? Absolutely. You just have to make a complete and total change to your entire business model, which includes your store size, how much floor space you have, what the lighting and fixtures look like, all that. And you have to strip it. You have to strip it to
basically reinvent the business.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going through the change, but conservatively, a lot of industry guys are saying there's going to be probably 2,000 to 3,000 shots a day business this year. So it'll be a chunk.
That's sad.
This is out of supposedly like 7,000 shots a day.
That's sad. That reminds me of when we were going through our dealer list a couple of years ago after the pandemic was kind of lightening up. It was like we did all that research and found out how many had closed. That was sad.
It was sad, and I don't think it's going to get any better, but it's not going to be necessarily as sad of a tale as it was, because a lot of guys, most of these people that are getting out are like, okay, models changed, we're done, we're walking away. So we've said it before on here, but if you believe in a local bike shop, you believe it serves some sort of purpose in life, and you want it to be around, then go visit it.
Absolutely.
And spend some money there. Yeah. That is literally how things stick around. If you are not doing that, then do not be surprised when they eventually say, hey, it was fun, but we're done. So that's it was under 5 minutes. It's 2.5 minutes.
I gotta say, I'm extremely proud of you.
Yeah. Okay, so I got 2.5 minutes more. So,
I hate if you could fill it.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. The industry's in bad shape. Go out and spend some money with people in the industry. They will appreciate it for sure. Maybe go buy one of these new groups and maybe buy a new bike in Southern Philadelphia. I'm an old school guy. I am still the kind of person that thinks a $3,000 bike is outrageously expensive, and that has been eclipsed. We're in the $12,000 to $14,000 bike.
$3,000, just above entry level.
That is entry level. That is entry level. Like 2,400 to 3,800 is like an entry level bike. Isn't it? I think it's insane.
I remember when I bought my road bike, my 2016 Bench. It was $6,000, and I was like, "This is like top of the line." I still have it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad bikes. I think they're a lot of times they're worth it. We can make the argument that we haven't paid for the kind of tech that has been developed over the years, and it's time to ratchet up that level. And it goes with everything getting more expensive anyway, inflation, whatever. At the same time, you can, in a lot of cases, you can buy well-performing motorcycles for less than what we're spending. You can say it's economies of scale. They have larger production units. It makes everything less expensive. But at the end of the day, you got to go look at the level of engineering in this. Look at the level of engineering in this. This is so much more expensive. But is there opportunity? Sure, I think there's opportunity. But I'm the kind of guy where even service. So, to me, a lot of times I'm like, that is way too expensive for someone to pay for service. I have been astounded, though, in the number of people I've talked to lately where people are like, no, it's not unusual to get that kind of bill for service.
Not with what goes into the modern bike, with internal routing, cable routing, through the bar, through the stem, down the fork, and what.
That stuff's one thing.
All the stuff that goes into, like, especially if you're building from, you're going bespoke and going, like, specific parts. I want this frame, this fork, these wheels, this brake, this drivetrain.
Just service.
Yeah, service in general. It's
like if you came to me with a cable, like an older, externally routed cable box, and said, I need a new headset there, and you're just paying for the labor for me to put it in, $30 tops. Yeah. If you came to me now and it's an internally routed and it's got disc brakes,
so much more goes into it.
And you say, I need a headset cable or a headset bearing swap. $150, $200.
That goes into it.
I mean, that's going to be a couple hours of time.
Oh yeah,
and that's just what you're paying for.
Oh yeah.
just the time on it. So, but I had somebody tell me, kind of like, yeah, I'm dropping it off. I haven't touched my bike since Montrose. It's going to need, I'm like, it's going to need all new bearings.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah, no, it's fine. I haven't done that in quite a while. So every year or two, take it in for a full, overhaul.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to be a really big bill. And they were like, oh, yeah, I mean, $800, $900 every, couple of years. The 800, 900 was like, oh, I wasn't thinking that much. That seems like a lot of money.
But I'll take your offer.
But, then I sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, and they said, hey, when I'm spending $3,000 to $4,000 on a bike,
yeah,
an $800 to $900 service bill to make it run like new.
Every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, every 2 to 3 years, as opposed to what? Me going out and spending another $4,000 on a new bike?
Right.
I guess I get it.
It's crumbs.
So, the service-only model at least has some potential and some ability to help shops get through and exist.
Dude, especially on the mountain bike side. There's so much you got to do to a mountain bike. Like my forks and all my suspension need servicing. I know of places I could take it or mail it or send it. It's just like, oh my God.
You notice I didn't go, I'll do it.
No, I know you don't. I know you don't mess with mountain bikes. I know you don't mess with mountain bikes.
Only because the amount of tech, the amount of knowledge needed, and the amount of tools needed far outweigh the amount of volume I would get to pay for it. So it's kind of like, why even bother?
I mean, I watched some of these, we were talking earlier about, watching videos or whatever about people servicing bikes and how it's kind of, for me, it's like mesmerizing. It's so cool to watch someone that knows what they're doing just flow through a complete build or a setup or a brake lead or whatever. But when, especially when I watch someone do like a mountain bike thing, it's just like, oh, it's so cool. But at the same time, it's like cringeworthy for me. It's just like, I break out in cold sweats and I'm just like, oh, I haven't done that to my mountain bike at all, and it probably really needs it, but I don't have the knowledge or tools or anything to do it.
I love watching those, and I hate watching those. I love watching them because I like to see how other people approach stuff and see if there's any tricks I can pick up.
Yeah.
Some of the best people doing those, when I'm watching them,
oh, it's fantastic.
I almost get pissed because they use less tools than me, and obviously it's cut and everything else, and you make a 40-minute job look like it takes 30 seconds on a reel or whatever. But so I understand that, but at the same time, you can tell it's taking them less time than what it would take me to do that particular thing. Yeah. And I consider myself to be fast in a lot of things.
I'm not saying I'm.
Sure.
I'm not saying.
I can get stuff done fast, or I can do it my way and get it done thoroughly and perfect. And anyway, So
those that know. Let's go with that.
But I do like it. Does I like tools? God, that doesn't sound good if you take it out of context.
Pretty bad.
I like well thought out bicycle tools and the shop tools and that kind of thing.
Shop tools,
but all of these companies are making boutique high-end tools now, and the amount of money it takes to buy any of these is just ridiculous, especially for our industry.
Yeah.
To be fully equipped with all of these tools is ridiculous.
I remember researching it, and I had a conversation with Darcy, my wife, for those of you that don't know, about like having all the tools.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get like a good toolkit, and then I did research and saw the prices. I was like, well, I know people.
It's ridiculous.
I'll just take them to the people I trust.
So I slowly accumulate good quality ones.
Yeah.
When I need them for what I need.
I mean, you got 17 torque wrenches.
I do have a lot of torque wrenches.
You have a lot of torque wrenches.
Well, a lot of that was because I was in the cars before this, and then it's I need a load cell to calibrate it.
I'm sure all the tools you got downstairs aren't just bikes. The majority of them.
No, the majority are not. But get your hands on a good, specific one that's designed for. But all these guys have like toolbox wars, and they all brag about what they've got. And it looks great. It's well done. The cone wrenches that I have downstairs. Now this is for a wheel builder. I'm a wheel builder.
Yep.
The cone wrenches that I have downstairs are all ones that I bought when I bought this shop.
Wow.
I bought the shop in 2014, It had been a shop since the 90s. Or it had been a shop before then, but they moved to that location in 98. And I can tell he never went and bought new wrenches. And he had a myriad of mechanics working on shit.
Mm-hmm.
So all those cone wrenches are wallowed out, have dents in them, have where they weren't fully,
Yeah.
they didn't have good purchase on what they're shit. They are absolute shit.
That's why you still have them.
I have asked myself that 1,000 times.
It's a dumpster
I
right
don't
outside
have
the
an
door.
answer.
It's a dumpster
I
right outside.
think the reason why I still have them is because I know I can buy new ones that are nice. They're not cheap.
No.
And there's good enough ones there that I can do the job extremely well without doing any damage with them.
Makes sense. Though.
And so I'm just kind of like, just keep making it look.
It's not broke, don't fix it.
I was reorganizing the other day and I went, these suck. These absolutely suck. What's even worse, I have a near mint condition, full part set of cone wrenches that goes up to 28, 30 millimeters at my house. In my private bike shop in the basement. That I refuse to bring in here because it's going to get damaged. And I'm like, by who? Me?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't make rational choices.
Some idiot like you just grabs it off the wall.
Well, at one point, and this is not to offend Anthony, but at one point, Anthony was going to be working with him too. And so it's like, doing a lot of volume on cheap bikes, you could fuck them up pretty quick.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, who really cares? Buy a new set. That's kind of part of the job. Comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I understand, I know that. But along those lines, I decided then, the other day I went out and I bought a brand new toolbox for racing. So anybody that see me carrying around that rigid tool case, the big, I've gotten it down to where I just had the big bottom case and one top case. And that top case was disgusting. It had crap tools in it. It's just full of crap tools. And it's because everybody in the world comes by and uses my toolbox. And there was no way to. I used to have this little case up at the top where you could at least organize the hex keys.
Yeah.
Even that wasn't working. It was falling down. All sorts of problems. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not going to take care of these tools. Once a year, I will go through this box and I'll throw away the beer caps and the little free handouts at whatever race that got thrown in there, the paper schedules for, Tour of Elk Grove or some shit. And I will get rid of all that stuff in there and clean it up and organize it and at least get the rust off of the tools and throw some oil on them once a year. Yeah. And then outside of that, say I love you. Anthony last year at one point went and he showed up and he threw a hex key set in the box. Yeah. And it was a brand new hex key set. And it was nice. And I have used the shit out of that all year. And I was like, every time I come to this toolbox, it could be like that. I just got to buy the tools and organize it. So I got I did go out and I got a brand new box. DeWalt. Yeah, don't laugh. I'm not laughing. And it's got 3 drawers. The top one has got 3 drawers in it. Yeah. And I've got foam, our old foam floor that I can cut and put in there. And I can actually shadow the tools and actually make the tools in there that I want. I might have some decent tools in there.
I can't wait to see what it looks like after the trade process.
That's the thing. So if I do this and I get this set the way that I want it, any of you fuckers who grabs my tools and doesn't put them back in the little slot that's specifically made for them, I will find you. I will find you and I will do unspeakable things to you. Like unwrap your car tape and wrap it wrong. So,
I'll give you a receipt to.
There you go. Throw a can of tuna in there. I've seen some bad things over the years. Yeah. Put some BBs. There's some people that put BBs in stems, inside the stem.
Oh, you could put water in someone's tubeless tires.
Oh, that would be good.
You would just be waddling around in the course.
Well, you'd hear it. Anybody would hear it, but the people that you do that to wouldn't hear it.
What did you put in here?
Yeah. I don't know why you keep spraying.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, God, that's 59 minutes on just that. We were going to talk about cyclocross world championships.
We can touch on it a little bit.
We will. So, Cyclocross World Championships are tomorrow. They start today,
Yep.
But they're tomorrow and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
If you are listening and I get this out in time and you feel so inclined, we are going to have a watch party here at the shop.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning, the race is at 8, and then Sunday the race is at 8 a.m., obviously, because it's in Europe. 8 a.m. for us. And, show up a little bit before that if you want, and you can hang out and watch some cyclocross. If I look super surprised when you walk in the door, then maybe I wasn't expecting you. Drop me a line, let me know that you're coming. But everybody's invited. So that's going on tomorrow. It is in Hoogerheim, right?
No, it's in.
Zonhoven.
No, it's in Lagune, France.
Yeah, like I said.
Yeah, way off. Close, but not close.
So anyway.
No, Hoogerheim was the last World Cup.
Last World Cup. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, sure. So so we got the news that
Great won the team
already
today.
Nice.
Spoiler alert, sorry. USA got 4th.
Nice. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Who was in it?
I don't know. I didn't.
Okay.
I just glanced right over it.
Well, we know that Strohmeyer is not going to be racing.
Strohmeyer will not be there. No.
He has announced that he's been sick and is heading home. For some reason, when I first read that, I got pissed. Now that I've had some time, obviously I'm not pissed. I think it's obviously the right choice. But to me, it's like, you at least take the start, and then pull out because you're sick.
No way.
You represent
Why even
at least that jersey at the World Championships. Otherwise, you got a bunch of people at home that are watching it that go, "There's only really Americans in it." We have how many Americans in it? 4?
3 men?
Yeah, 3. Now there's 2.
He was one of 3. You got remaining. You've got Bruner and Funston. No alternate.
Cool.
Funston's good.
Well, I didn't say he wasn't.
Funston does really good.
Bruner's not running well right now.
He's not doing too good this year.
So,
he's usually up in the mid 20s. He's been in the 30s and 40s. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of sickness going on.
Yeah. No, I know. I get it. So he's coming home. He's not going to be there. We've got 2 riders in the elite men, elite women. We have none.
Katie Klaus.
Katie Klaus. Like I said, we have none. No, sorry, Katie.
I think the American team is stacked heavy with
juniors and U23.
Juniors. Not even U23. U23 men. There's only 2.
Well, U23 women is
there's quite a bit.
Vita. Oh, she's not racing. She's not racing. And that was the other thing.
Why is she not racing? Where'd you hear this from?
It was in the same post as the Strohmeyer one.
Really?
So apparently she's not racing and he's not racing. And I'm like, we have neither national champion rolling. That's what pissed me off. And pissed off is a relative term. I was just like, that sucks. So I don't believe she's racing.
She's probably sick.
Yeah. Anyway.
Got to be something going around.
She was going to be doing the U23.
Going around that house where they all stand considered, I think it is. But, who knows? We'll see. So, maybe we'll get surprised by somebody.
I will get surprised by, not surprised, but juniors. Junior women, Lydia Cusack. Hopefully everybody knows her name by now, but people, if you don't, watch her. Keep your eye on her, especially for her career moving forward. I listened to a couple interviews with her on a couple different podcasts. She won her first UCI World Cup race that she did this year.
Early on in the season.
Dublin, I want to say?
Maybe, I don't know. I know it was earlier in the season, but that's awesome.
And it was her first race in Europe. This year, I believe. I don't know if I think she's racing in Europe.
I think the American team, I think, looking at the junior fields, I think we've got a good crop that's coming in, both men and women.
Yeah. So we got that to look forward to. But World Championships tomorrow. Women tomorrow. Men Sunday.
Elites, yes.
Yeah. Juniors today?
Juniors, yes. I think elite men and women are Saturday, Sunday, I think, along with...
the juniors and U23 same for both days?
Juniors might be tomorrow.
I want to say I saw...
I don't know the schedule off the back of my head.
My brain does not function on European dates. I understand. It takes a while for me to adjust to it, like a week of seeing it straight. So it's obviously the day, the month. And I saw I kept seeing 1-2, and I was like,
Yeah,
damn it, I missed it. I missed it.
We all missed it then. Yeah, no.
But I kept seeing 1-2, so I believe, and that was for juniors in E23.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know if I was just looking at the women or what. So, but some racing tomorrow, some on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do your part. Go and check out the racing. Lay your bets. Who do you think is going to win the elite men?
I think it's just like everyone else. It depends. Well, let me say, you've got Wout, who announced he was going to, at the 11th hour, he pulled the trigger and said, I'm going to race Worlds. He's obviously been feeling well. His character's actually going good. His racing hasn't been going super well. He's been making some technical errors, but being a Wout fan, I hope that he beats Matthew. I know a lot of you that are listening to this are probably laughing at it, saying no way it's going to happen, and I don't disagree with it because Matthew is a sensational cross racer, sensational bike racer in general. But if you do remember, those 3 years that Wout got his ass kicked during the season by Matthew, Wout won the Worlds.
Yeah,
so
that's true. And you got to think that Wout wouldn't have jumped into Worlds unless he
thought he had a chance.
Yeah,
of course. He's not going to just race.
Especially because it was already done.
Yeah.
He already was not going to do it.
And I think that this track plays to his strengths. I think it's not very technical. I don't think there's barriers. I think there's 3 run-ups, depending on the weather they have. Who knows? It could go either way, but from some of the podcasts and things that I've been listening to in regards to this weekend's events, say it could go either way. Or Matthew might have a harder time than just, like 30 seconds in being like, all right, see you guys later.
But your final call?
My final call is I'm going to go with Wout, and I'm going to go with Matthew for second, and I'm going to say third place. My heart says Tebow, but my brain says Lars Van Aert.
Yeah, I had the same picks as you, except I flipped. I would put Michael in first.
You mean Matthew?
Matthew, sorry.
Yeah.
And Wout second, and Van Aert third.
In reality,
that's where I'm picking.
I just want to see a good race. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to see Matthew get challenged. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want the men's race to be as exciting and nail-biting as every single women's race has been.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Those races are fantastic.
So speaking of the women, I'm looking at the start sheet here.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's stacked.
Yeah.
It's stacked.
It's so Femme Van Empel, Lucinda Brand, Celine Alvarado, Inge van der Heijden, Puck Pieterse, Manon Bakker, Amory Worst, I don't really count her in, Sonic Khan. Eileen Clausel, Caroline Mani will be there. Gotta love Frenchie. Clausel's sister, Peru.
But it's a 3-horse race. It's a 3, maybe 4-horse race.
Blanca Voss. That's who I was looking for.
Yes.
But Blanca Voss only has 9 UCI points, so
she's been in the front row.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if they got the staging correct or not. Or she's in 9th place.
And you're taking out Zoe Backstead, and you're taking out Maria.
Yeah, Zoe's going U23.
She's going U23. So there's opportunity for Blanca to improve her starting position if she's not already in the front row. She rode a phenomenal race
when she won. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think she's.
What's your call?
I'm going to say Lucinda. I'm going to say Blanca Voss for second, and I'm going to say Femme Van Empel gets third, because if it's bad conditions and if it's muddy and heavy and it becomes technical, those two are out going to ride Fenn, and if the wheels start to fall off for Fenn, the brain's going to check out.
Yeah.
You could see that when she starts to struggle, the wheels just come off.
Yes. If she has one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she can bobble and be fine, but if she has one thing that in her brain does not go her way.
If she hits the deck,
yeah, she calls it.
Her brain shuts off.
Well, her knee's gotten so fucked up over so many times over the last few seasons that when that happens, she starts to freak because she's like, I don't want to go through the recovery.
From the reports I've heard, there's not enough technical bits to make Fluke a player.
Yeah.
There's no barriers, there's no real things like that. Not to say that she can't be. She's obviously strong.
I'd like to say Puck on the podium, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I agree with you on Lucinda.
Yeah.
Lucinda first or second. But man, she's been riding well. She's really powerful.
She is a bulldog in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or the last 11. It's amazing to just when she just goes.
Quite honestly, I think if Fem goes out early and gets the lead on the first lap and is really pushing it, she won't win.
Well, yeah, she could blow up.
I think if she plays it smart, is riding third wheel, fourth wheel, for half the race.
I think it'll be this. From what I've heard in reports of the style of the track, it could definitely come down to it being a tactical race more so than power or skill or technique or But if I'm just praying that Lucinda gets a good start. Her starts have been terrible all season long, and she puts herself on the back foot, having to come from 15th place. And that burns up a lot of energy. Imagine if she got just in the top 5 for the starting. Imagine the energy savings she could have when she's not scrambling past all these people that are slower in front of her and making mistakes and doing all this stuff.
Celine?
She's been on the struggle bus lately for the last 3 or 4 laps, or 3 or 4 races.
I wholly agree with that, and while I hate to say it, I think she's going to be struggling to make the top 5. She'll probably be 4th.
She could be 4th or 5th. It could be Lucinda, Fem, Blanca, Puck, Celine, and Emily.
I think she's not going to do as well as we would expect. I think Puck is going to be in the top 3. I think Fem is either going to be 3rd or 5th.
She's definitely not been the same Fem Van Empel for the last 2 seasons. Lucinda,
I think, is going to win 1st or 2nd. But 2 that I think are going to jump in there and surprise everybody. Inga.
She's been very strong. Depends on the conditions.
Yeah.
She usually is strong for the first 3 quarters, and then she goes.
Blanca.
Oh, Blanca for sure.
Between those 2, they're U23s, basically, aren't they? I think they're still under 23.
Blanca is
she? Right. Yeah. So they're young.
She's been
and they've been strong.
Oh yeah, she was amazing in the last race.
They're looking good, and I think they still have, in my opinion, because of where they're at in their career and what's going on, I think they still have the potential to outride themselves in a critical race.
Yeah.
And do something they've never done before.
Yeah.
So
exceed expectations for sure.
So those are my wild cards, and I put them in the top 3 on both of those.
Yeah.
If they have that kind of now, Inga, I think maybe 3rd. If she has a stellar race,
she would have to have her best day.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not arguing that. I'm saying if she has a really good race, she's going to be in the top 5.
She's been very consistent all season long, which is nice to see. Yeah.
Blanca, I think Blanca could be 2nd place. Yeah. And if Lucinda fucks up, Blanca's got a shot.
Oh, yeah.
This is if she outrides herself and has a race better, one of the best races of her career.
She fended off Fem and Lucinda at the last race. Under pressure, within seconds of her. So that's, to me, speaks volumes. That's a huge mental victory. Strong early in the race, fizzle a little bit in the middle for whatever reason. Maybe she knew what was going on. She played her tactics, she played her card right, saved some energy, and then she was there at the end and succeeded. It was awesome.
Her fitness is going for her. Her mental side is on there. I think everything's kind of lining up for her to do a really good job.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at on those
It's going to be
as
good
well.
racing. Good racing for sure.
You notice we didn't all just go. I mean, we both kind of said Lucinda for the win.
Oh, I would bet on it.
Yeah, unless something
If
bad
she
happens.
gets a start, it's a different race for everybody, including herself.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Hopefully you guys watch it and enjoy it. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up.
Absolutely.
Like we said, go and buy your buttonhole shaming cream. You can also buy it on our website, nzcyclingclogs.com. Send us an email for any topics you would like for us to cover at roadisdead, all one word, roadisdead@gmail.com. Once again, roadisdead@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you, even if you just say, hey, I would really like the show. Believe it or not, all those emails that we do get, I do share with everybody, so they do see it.
Are we getting any requests for topics?
No requests for topics.
Come on, guys.
That's the thing.
Do better.
We have gotten them. We have discussed those topics, but we haven't.
I mean, there's nothing that we're going to discuss that people aren't getting from their social media channels.
Right.
Or any other resource.
But if they really are just like, I really want to hear what you have to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's not boring. Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad.
Which is why you guys join us. Once again, thank you for joining us. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, put in the reviews, do all the stuff that the modern internet requires you to do in order to show your love and appreciation. The other way you can show it is obviously buying buttonhole shaming cream, stopping by Slimet.com, and checking out some wheels. We can always help you out with that. And, of course, we actually do sell coffee, too. I don't know that I got on the websites anymore, but if you do want coffee, I think I got on the Slimet site. I don't know. Whatever. So go ahead and show your love and appreciation. Share it. And until the next time, enjoy the run.